Hey, how are you? My name is April and this is my Sims self. I am an avid Sims player and I have been for many years. I do a little gameplay and I am an uncontrollable builder. So today we are doing a new type of build, something I haven't attempted before. It's the Burrow from Harry Potter. We're using two main reference photos, one from the movie and one from a website called ArtStation, as well as a general scroll through Google Images and my memory from the many viewings of the movies themselves. This would be a speed build style video and carry across at least 2 videos. I do hope you enjoy. Remember to like and comment if you do, and let's get started. Okay, so let's start this build. We're doing it on Twin Oracle Point, and you can see me here just starting to get the general shape down. Again, I'm using those two reference photos that I popped up on the screen before. What I didn't know before building this, and it's probably something that I should have known, but I didn't know that you could have different levels at different heights. And it's such a basic little thing, but I honestly, you just saw the moment where I found that out. The middle level there, I've got the tall walls, and then the rest are just normal size walls, and I think the top level is the tallest walls you can have. I wanted a bit of variation because as we all know with the Burrow, it is all over the shop. It's been added onto as they had their many kids. So yeah, I sort of wanted to give it that, it's like different heights and stuff for the different levels. Now this roof little window here, it gave me a bit of an issue. I actually cut a lot of this out, to be honest with you, because we would have been sitting here for probably the 2.5 hours it took me to build this if I left all of that in. But you can see generally how I did it is by finding out where I wanted it, moving it up and down by having move objects on, and figuring out which way I wanted the roof to go to hide the back of it while still having quite a high pitch. I also put walls around it because I wanted to change the colour of it so it would match the outside. And I thought that was pretty cool, and I just brought, I think I used like the 3/4 high walls rather than using full walls or smaller walls. So that I could paint it the same colour to match the house, because as we all know, there are not that many swatches in The Sims, so I had to do the best with what I had. I've just done these roofing. Now I really have a love-hate relationship with roofing in The Sims. I think there's a lot of creative ways you can use the roofs. I've been watching a lot of tutorials lately using the stretching out the roof without the walls underneath it and making these awesome curvy shapes. I tried a little bit to get into it and make like a glass orb thing, and that was pretty cool, but it is so much more difficult than I make it look in speed builds and things like that, so I ended up giving up. But I'm just trying to get all these different roof panels to match up, figure out which little bitsy pieces that I'm going to use for these little added bits. I wanted it to be rough and yet still fit in, and then I'm going to end up stretching out the eaves, and it was a bit of an ordeal. The roofing of this was actually really fiddly, but I was super happy with the way that it came out. And I'll put the roof trim on a little bit later on once I've got the painting down. So I started off with this reddy colour that's in the ArtStation reference photo. I was really into it when I found that. I do end up changing it later, spoiler alert. But I was super into it and I was really vibing with it. And then the more I looked at the original and was looking through, as I said before, scrolling through the Google Images, I was just like, I kind of want to make this a little bit closer to what it actually is in the movie, and it definitely isn't this reddy weatherboard sort of colour. So I end up changing it. Here I am toying with the roof once again, trying to figure out the eaves because they did not match up once I changed the pitch, but I ended up figuring that out, keeping it further in, and ended up, I think, switching the roof altogether just to make it all match up. Yeah, there I go. There I go, figured it out. All these different roof pieces. If you know what, if your roof isn't working for you, switch it up. Just change it. You don't always have to have a completely pitched roof or a completely closed in roof. You can have that roof that's cut off. Just toy around with it. That's all I can say when it comes to roofing, is just think outside the box a little bit and just do the best you can while using all the little bally things. I don't know what they're called, but you know, the way that you edit roofs. And you can actually press Shift C, and it brings up different options for adjusting the roof curvature, let's say. I was going to put in a chimney and change it so it was bigger but not like oversized. I ended up skipping over that. Now, this part. So, this took me, oh god, 25 minutes to get to the point we're at now. I cut that out. I'm going to be honest with you. I just cut it right out because I sat and fiddled with this stupid little window, and I'll put an insert of the window that I'm trying to create here. I sat and toyed with this for so long, and it just wasn't working, and I pulled the roof off, I put the roof on, I pulled the roof off, I changed the wall heights, I changed the window. Yeah, and so I ended up going back to what I did on the top roof and using those 3/4 walls, and instead of making it too wide, which it looks like it is in the photo, I ended up just making it 1 wide, and I think it came out pretty cute. So I'm not going to claim at all that this build is going to be perfect, but it's a whole lot of close enough. And that's just how we're going to roll. Alright, so here I've put a little balcony area, taken away the walls so I could keep the floor, because I'm going to put a window above it like it has in the photo. And I've just built in that deck and also painted it up, ready for fencing and stuff. Now this little alcove, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I haven't checked out the floor plan, so I left it as is for now. So here you can see I have decided to make the changes to make it a little more closer to the actual house from the movie, rather than going with the artistic version of it. And then I decided against it. You will notice me later, I will go back to it because I went between these two images more than I would care to admit in the beginning of this build. But this like little column detail I thought was really cool, and it's something that I've obviously never used. I'm sort of a person who puts columns on the corners, makes them all perfect so they line up. But putting columns just recklessly underneath this huge protruding room, yeah, something I hadn't done, and I think the effect is pretty cool because it definitely looks like it's precariously sitting on these, you know, tiny little wooden beams. But yeah, so here I've changed the outside, and you know what? I think it looks a lot cooler. It looks a lot cooler, and it makes me a lot more not more excited because I was pretty excited anyway. But yeah, once I'd done the repainting, I was like, yeah, I'm vibing with this way more than I was with the red, and I didn't even know. I didn't know until I made the change. It does have this brick part at the back, and I don't know if I'm down with that. I can't visualize. I can see it in the photo, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put that in. I know at the end of this build it's not there. Perhaps in next week's video, once we do the landscaping and the interior, I'll change my mind and put the bricks in. But at this stage, I don't think so. I do not think so. I changed the roof color here as well because it's actually got 2 different roof colors, but I wanted that reddy tone in it as well. And again, this goes against all my builder's instincts because I want the roofs to match. A matchy kind of person. But the thing I love about doing these kinds of builds is it pushes you to do things differently to what you normally would. Because if you build and build and build continuously like I know I do, you sometimes fall into the trap of building the same old thing the same way, using the same, you know, wall swatches and furniture and roof styles and just general build styles. But I think every now and then building something from reference where you're trying to get it perfect is really good. As I said, it pushes you out of your comfort zone, pushes you out of those habits. So you can see there I am trying to get a little, is it a gable? Or like a little cover for the windows. Just decided on using the sheet metal and this dome thing that I don't think I have ever used, ever touched, never would, but I think it kind of fit perfectly. As for finding like a window door rounded top situation, I had a bit of a struggle with that. To be honest with you, I go through a lot of doors and windows in making the decisions on what to put on this build because there's so many different styles, and yet I couldn't find the perfect one to go with the image. So, like I said before, this build is a whole lot of close enough. And especially because we're so limited on color swatches for a lot of these, it either comes with a white window with blue shutters or a pink window with white shutters, or as you know, you don't get a plain white swatch or a plain dark brown swatch, or you know, we all know the struggles of the color swatches in The Sims. But we do the best with what we're given. Now, trying to fit a window in the center of this without making that veranda thing, it's not a veranda, but without making that window covering bigger, because you know, once you start something up, it goes ridiculously big. While trying to get a window that's sort of centered, it was not working for me. I could not figure out what I was doing, or see, I didn't want it that big. I wanted that small, but longer. And then if I put two together, it was too long. And if I put them, you know, try to line them up so that I put two next to each other, it wasn't going to work out that way either. I almost decided on doing an off-center one, and then I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So move everything over, shift over my little individual pieces of roof, shift that over, take the roof off, get it back in position. It's a whole lot of fiddling around. But in the end, I think it's worth it. Because now that window is centered and I can sleep well at night. Oh my god, did I change it back? No, I didn't change it back. Oh, how does this end? I'm sorry, I built this a couple of days ago. I've been procrastinating on recording my voiceover, and this is my first video, so I've been looking at editing software and trying to finagle my way around the art of YouTube recording. Okay, so I settled on that. I didn't make it bigger like it was before. The window is still centered, so we are all good. The patch where they brought in being able to raise up the columns, oh my goodness, it's a game changer. It was so good. Not being able to bring the columns up to where the roof was, or if you've got different sized rooms to different sized columns, just being able to drag it up, it's so good. So good. So here I decided to slim down those columns a little bit, and also alternate them so they weren't so, what am I trying to say? I'm doing an action here with my hands and you can't see it. In line with each other, I guess would be the phrase I'm trying to get at. I wanted a little more haphazard, shall we say. Now, this door I'm placing here, I'm pretty sure they use this as their front door. I went back and had a look at the floor plan for the Weasley house after I had finished this video, and it was set out completely differently to the way that I thought it was. I thought that little, what am I trying to say? Bump out on the left hand side there, I thought that was the kitchen, and it's not. It's like part of the lounge room or something. So where we are on the right hand side of the screen at the moment, that's actually the kitchen slash dining. So, and the stairs wrap around in some ridiculous fashion. It's going to be a struggle. I can't wait. And that will all be in part 2. Oh, I hope that didn't come through the recording. Sorry, I just got a notification. I'm going to have to turn that off. I have never used this little stone fence before, and I can tell you what, I'm here for it. I think it suits this build so well. So well. And the little gate is adorable. Alright, so now we're doing window selections, and there are many kinds, many different kinds of windows in this house, which was kind of cool. Oh my god, there it is again. I'm so sorry. So doing the window selection, there are so many different kinds of windows in the Weasley house, and it's really cool because, as I was talking about before, when I'm building a house, I want to use like this square window and I want to match it with that long window, and then I'm going to use those 2 windows and I'm going to take them all through the house. But building something like this, I could use whatever window I wanted. I mean, I still took my time in selecting the windows and the color swatches and things like that to make them semi-match or not semi-match or stand out where they should. Anyway, I digress. The window selection was fun because they did not have to match, is probably the point that I'm trying to make. Sometimes I have a really bad habit of over-explaining things when I just absolutely don't need to, and it's so obvious where I'm trying to get with what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm actually running myself out of breath by trying to explain too hard. So, the windows were a lot of fun to do though. That is the long and short of it. And so we are coming to the end of this build at this stage. I really like the way it's coming out at the moment. The floor plan scares the bejeebers out of me, but I think we're just going to have to go along with being close enough and doing the best we can with the limitations that we have. I probably could have made the build bigger, but you know, the bigger you make a build, the stranger the windows look and the sizing of everything else doesn't match. I think the sizing of this actually is alright at this stage. I think it doesn't look oversized, the windows don't look like itty bitty and tiny on the house. I think they look, yeah, I think the windows look pretty good at this stage, and I think the sizing of the house is pretty good. I ended up closing off that and just turning it into a sort of balcony veranda area. I may go back and change it, but I'm not sure if I will. I really liked how, again, with the columns, I could pull them up through the roof. So it just adds that sort of rustic feel. So we're nearly done with this build. I'm just adding the last couple of windows. And there it is. So at this stage, that's what we've got. Next time we'll be doing floor plan, landscaping and decor, and that video will be up next Sunday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will leave my socials down below, as well as a link for the song in this video. My channel is Built by April, and yes, I made this, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.